Well, hello, everybody. Happy Monday evening, maybe even Tuesday for some of you guys that are in the future. How's Tuesday looking? Let me know. What a day. Thank you guys all for being here. I'm sorry I'm slightly tardy. I started at 9:15 instead of 9 o'clock. I just wanted to make sure that I had plenty of time to make sure the video uploaded and all this business. So I just wanted to make sure everything was good to go before I went live. So hopefully, I didn't have any hiccups. I could still have hiccups. We don't know. I don't know. Maybe y'all that are on Tuesday could tell me if I'm going to have any hiccups. I sure would like to know. So, let me tell you what had happened today. All day long, I'm flipping back and forth between the Todt trial and looking for the Depp versus Heard to go live. All right. So then I start doing like even extra digging or whatever. Well, but I'm working on the openers, right? And I said to myself, well, you should do Johnny Depp's first because that's the live you're going to do first, right? Yeah. Okay. So back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? I'm still doing laundry, all the stuff I have to do during the day too, regular stuff plus this. And then I find out, okay, it's jury selection, which I thought they already did. All right. Obviously, I was wrong. It's happened before. Not many times, but it has happened. I know. I was shocked I was wrong too. So I was like, well, this is going to be days. And then I refresh and boom, they done picked a jury by 3:30 p.m. Right. So I was like, okay, cool. So then I thought, okay, there's this leaked audio and it's 2 hours worth. And it's basically Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Although this is not what you're here for, I just going to combine them together since I didn't do the live at 7. All right. So just bear with me. I'll be quick. Anyway, anyways, it's this 2 hour long audio. It's a recording. They both are aware that they were being recorded. Okay. And it's them. I don't even want to say them really. But uh they're discussing the state of their marriage, and it starts out fairly calm, but within like, I don't know, 6.5 minutes, maybe even 7, boom, one person's voice is elevated and then continues to elevate and elevate and elevate. Okay. So I listened to a little bit of it, and that's the gist of it for the most part. But it's evidently a big huge deal, and going to be a big huge deal in this trial. So tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. is when the opening statements begin. All right. So then I will have audio, obviously I'll have that for you guys. But what I did tonight was I condensed the important parts of the testimony. And like the longer testimony, I sped up to 1.5 times speed because otherwise we'd be here all night. And what I am going to play for you guys tonight is the opening statement by the prosecution, which I have to say that I was a bit taken aback. It's been a minute since I've watched a trial in Florida, and I had forgotten, or maybe it's something that's changed because like I said, I was taken aback. But after the prosecution gave their opening arguments, they even began immediately presenting their case. And I was like, wait, what? Yeah, I was confused. So I guess that's a thing now. So there was a 911 dispatcher, a 911 operator. Basically, what they testified to is Anthony Todt's sister calling from Connecticut to do a wellness check. They had they had been told that the family had the flu, and they were supposed to hear from their brother, and they didn't. And nobody was answering their calls. None of the neither the cell phone. They were going straight to voicemail. Nobody had text. Yada yada yada. So they send officers out to do a wellness check at both locations. So they were renting a house, and then not very far from the house they were renting, they had a condo, and they officers left their cards and whatnot to get into contact, and they didn't ever follow up. And then finally there was another wellness call, a well check, and that's what got this whole ball rolling. So who we're going to hear from today is Christopher Boos. He is with the I can't ever say this one right. It's not OCLO. OCLO. I can't remember how to say it right now. When I hear it again, I'll know how to say it. I'm tired. It's been a long day. So we're going to hear from him and see his body cam footage. Then we're going to I think it's Osceola Sheriff's Department, and then the Anthony Boos or Christopher Boos is with the Osceola Police Department. So then we're going to hear from Emily Seda. She is from the Osceola Sheriff's Department. She took the pictures. And then we're going to hear from Erin West. She's also from the Osceola Sheriff's Office, and she did the fingerprints. Okay. Osceola. I don't know how to say that right. And I live here. So whatever. I mean, that's like the middle of Florida. It's over there by Disney World. So I don't always know how to say those places. Once they say it, I'll know. So I also don't have an exciting opener for you guys to watch because I just ran out of time, and it is what it is. So let me say hi to some people and then we'll get started. All right. Hey, Sam. Hey, Recliner Detective. Hey, Anaphylaxis. Hey, Molson Man. Hey, Nonstop Mom. Hey, Momo. Hey, Dave G. Hey, Tony. Good to see you guys. Hey, Shamira. Miss anybody? I don't think so. I think I got everybody. I got Tony. Hey, Christine Elizabeth. Good to see you. I think that's everybody. I said Nonstop Mom. Yes. Hello, 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 Rubberhead. Hello, hello, hello. All right. So hopefully this works. And hey, Allie79. And here we go. I didn't put this in the order in which it was presented. I put it in the order in which I put it. But we are going to start with the opening statements. So here you go. Oh, I want to tell you guys. So whenever the jury comes in, these ladies who have these seats right here, unfortunately, they are panned to quite frequently throughout the trial as in an effort to keep the jury from being filmed. So, okay, are y'all ready? Here we go. I thought I clipped this part out, but I guess I didn't. Oh my gosh.
They to any media coverage or any information about this case outside of the courtroom, if you'll please.
I can't make it any louder. This is the volume that it is. I'm sorry, you guys. It's not on my end. You might just have to turn your
the state of Florida is going to have an
volume up or your headsets up. I apologize.
We'll have the same opportunity trial. What the attorneys say is not evidence at this portion in the trial, but do listen closely to the argument. It is intended to give you a guide as to what they believe the evidence will show. Ms. Pinnell, whenever you're ready.
I'm sure they will, because I believe they address it.
Good morning. December of 2019 started out like every other December for the Todt family. The evidence will show that at some point in the middle of December, the extended family of the Todts began to get worried. And you're going to hear a call made by the defendant's sister, Christy Caplet, and she calls the sheriff's office asking for somebody to go and check on the well-being of the defendant and the rest of his family. You're going to hear that the sheriff's office went out to 202 Reserve Place in Celebration multiple times. They also went to 211 Longview Avenue and checked the condo multiple times to no avail. You're going to hear from the evidence that on January 13th of 2020, law enforcement finally made contact with the defendant. They made contact with the defendant at 202 Reserve Place in Celebration. You're going to hear testimony that when law enforcement officers entered the home, they immediately noticed an odor that was familiar.
I forgot. So Allie is 100% correct. Thank you for reminding me, babe. Lori Vallow done passed the competency camp and has been declared fit to stand trial. So that's that. No, nonstop mom. I didn't speed her up because it's the opening and I wanted you guys to hear it. And it's not a long opening. So I didn't speed her up. So yeah. Hey, Coolest Reviews. Good to see you. All right, here we go. So Lori Vallow has done past her competency camp and she's ready to stand trial. So now she'll be, I think the next move is for her to be arraigned. I can't remember.
To them. They immediately noticed an odor of decomposition. And law enforcement made contact with the defendant, who advised them that his wife, Megan Todt, was upstairs sleeping. He advised law enforcement that his daughter, Zoe Todt, was maybe in the garage. And you're going to hear from the law enforcement officers that went into the master bedroom in that second story of that home and located Megan Todt, Zoe Todt, Alexander Todt, and Tyler Todt, all deceased. They also located the dog Breezy, also deceased. And it was obvious to law enforcement, you're going to hear from them, that they had been deceased for quite some time. And you're going to hear also from the crime scene technician, Emily Seda. And Emily Seda is going to tell you that she responded to that home. She documented everything using photographs, and you're going to have an opportunity to see those photographs as well. You're going to have an opportunity to see the various items that were collected from the home. Mainly, there was a lot of bottles of Benadryl. There was some empty boxes of Benadryl.
Thank you,
You're gonna hear from
Shamina.
Emily Seda that she took those empty bottles and boxes of Benadryl that were found throughout the house, and she processed them. And she's going to tell you about the process, and the evidence will show that
He
on
did.
some of those items, fingerprints were lifted.
He did.
And you're going to hear from Aaron West, who took those fingerprints and compared them to the defendant's fingerprints and found the defendant's fingerprints on the different Benadryl bottles and boxes. You're going to also have an opportunity to hear from Dr. Jennifer Nara. Dr. Jennifer Nara had, during her tenure at the medical examiner's office, had the opportunity to perform the autopsies on Megan Todt, Alexander Todt, Tyler Todt, and Zoe Todt. And she's going to come and tell you about her findings from the autopsies. You're also going to hear from Dr. Bruce Goldberger. He's going to tell you, he is a toxicologist, and he is going to tell you about what the different toxicology results from the medical examiner's office mean. You're also going to have an opportunity to hear from Detective Cole Miller. Detective Cole Miller was assigned as the lead detective in this case. He responded to 202 Reserve Place for a period of time. He attended the autopsies in this case. He also had the opportunity to speak with the defendant. Detective Cole Miller spoke with the defendant on January 13th, the day that he initially came in contact with law enforcement. And he also spoke with the defendant on January 15th, a couple days later. You're going to have an opportunity to hear the defendant and Detective Cole Miller's conversation. And you're going to be informed by the defendant in his interview that he is the one that took the lives of Megan Todt, Alexander Todt, Tyler Todt, and Zoe Todt. You're going to have an opportunity to hear that the defendant, sometime between December 14th of 2019 and Christmas in 2019, went into Zoe Todt's room while she was asleep, and he took the time to sit with her, and then he rolled over on top of her until she suffocated. Next, he went to Alexander Todt's room that was also upstairs.
That might have been a little
You're gonna
late, but
hear
there it is.
Information, and you're going to also see photographs that show that Alexander Todt and Tyler Todt shared a room. Alexander Todt was older. He's the oldest child. And he was sleeping upstairs. Tyler Todt, at the time of his death, was downstairs. You're going to hear that the defendant told Detective Miller that he went next to Alexander Todt and he suffocated Alexander Todt, and he also stabbed Alexander Todt in his abdomen. And after the evidence will
Hey,
show that
Amelia
after
Sparkles. Yeah, you know
Alexander
how I
Todt was
like to
dead, he
roll
went
in. I like
downstairs
to let
Tyler
the
Todt,
trigger
who was
happen
sleeping
and then
on
warn you it's going to
a
happen.
sofa bed in the playroom.
I'm the best.
And you're going to hear that the defendant
Sorry, you guys.
was more concerned about Tyler Todt because Tyler Todt was the fastest. He was afraid that if something didn't go the way that he wanted, Tyler Todt would escape. The evidence will show that he did the same thing to Tyler Todt that he did to Alexander Todt. He suffocated Tyler Todt, and he also stabbed Tyler Todt in the abdomen. The defendant is also, in his interview, talks about Megan Todt. And the defendant in his interview says that Megan Todt and himself had an agreement that everybody needed to die in order to pass over to the other side together because the apocalypse was coming. And you'll hear that in the defendant's interview. So the defendant says that Megan Todt, she ended up having 2 stab wounds to her abdomen as well, and you'll hear that from the medical examiner. The defendant told law enforcement that Megan did that to herself. And as best as she tried, that didn't work. And so the defendant took a pillow and suffocated Megan Todt as well. And you're going to hear right before he suffocated and took the life of Megan Todt that he also suffocated Breezy the dog. And then the defendant says that after everybody was dead, he took all of their bodies and placed them all into the master bedroom. The photos
Big
that you
Mama,
will,
welcome.
see in this case show
Yeah,
2
this is
twin beds on the
horrendous.
floor in the master bedroom where Tyler Todt and Alexander Todt were located. There's a bed in the master bedroom, either a queen or a king-size bed, a pretty large bed. Megan Todt was found in that bed, as well as Zoe Todt. Breezy the dog was found on the floor on a dog bed. And all of this was in the master bedroom. The evidence will also show that the defendant,
Yeah, they
since the date of
intend
their
on
deaths
giving
until January 13th of 2020, when he was found by law enforcement,
they do intend on
stayed in the room
presenting
as well.
or giving an opening statement, but they're going to wait.
And
It's been a
the
long time
evidence will
since I've seen
show,
one in Florida, so I forgot that they could
after
do
you
it
have an
this way.
opportunity to
It's
hear
my bad.
everything, the state's confident you're going to return verdicts of guilty in this case. Thank you.
Also, if you notice,
And Judge, defense will invoke the rule of sequestration officially for the record.
Thank you. Rule of sequestration is
hold on. Also, if you notice, excuse me, I feel like it's backwards, the courtroom setup. Normally, we would be looking at the prosecutor right here, right? And then the defense would be on the other side. Maybe it's just the way the cameras are set up, but it looks backwards to me. Okay, so the next testimony that we're going to hear is from, hold on a sec, Aaron West. And she's the fingerprint person. She came and did all the latent collecting fingerprints, and then later comparing the fingerprints. She did all the comparison. So now I don't know what I'm hoping I went it to me when I went through the pictures that were published for the jury or for the public is different than the ones that the jury would get to see. I didn't see any that were like a repeat of what we saw in the Chandler Halderson case, but I can't promise. So I'm hopeful that just understand that if it's too sensitive, if it's too much, just tell me and I'll skip through it. But I just didn't want anybody. Some people want to see and some people don't, and I can't please everybody. But if the majority of you guys want me to skip through them if they pop up, then I'd be more than happy to do that. So I don't think I sped up the fingerprint lady, but I clipped her testimony considerably because, I mean, we all know how fingerprints work, right? Okay, here we go.
First, talking about states 29.
Yes, that's what I thought,
Did you
recliner
receive
detective.
States 29 in order to review as known prints?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And who does the packaging purport these prints to be from?
The packaging indicates that these prints belong to Anthony John Todt.
What is in the packaging for the known prints? When I say that, are both hands imaged in there, all 10 fingers, that type of information?
The packaging indicates that it's major case prints, and so when we are collecting a set of major case prints, that would include the recording of all of the fingers as well as the palms.
And states 6 are latent print cards that you received in this case?
Yes, that's correct.
And the latent print cards, how many did you receive?
I received 14 latent print cards in total.
Did you identify each of the cards utilizing a separate number?
I did mark the individual cards with a unique identifier.
What unique identifier did you use?
We typically begin with the item number. So in this case, this exhibit was assigned as Exhibit 55.
Okay, I'm already
So I
annoyed.
would have gone through each.
Of value to you?
Correct.
What does that mean?
So when I evaluated the information that was present on the latent print, either there were no latent prints present, or there was not enough information, or the information was of too poor quality to conduct a comparison.
I don't think there were. I think, listen, I can't promise you that there's not going to be a wide angle shot of the scene. They were all found together in the master bedroom. Okay. All of them, including poor Breezy. Okay. I can't promise you that there's not going to be a wide angle view of the crime scene. So, just brace yourselves.
Next, let's talk about 55-3. Did you have other latent cards that correlated with the item of evidence from 55-3?
So the description on the back of 55-3 matched one other card in the case.
What's the other card number?
The other card number was 55-7.
And where do these latent print cards indicate the print is from?
The back of the latent print card on these two lifts indicated that they were collected from a Benadryl box at marker 20, and the 55-3 in parentheses, it says side/flap, and 55-7 says in parentheses side.
Were you able to locate any latent prints of value from 55-3?
55-3, I did not see any latent prints that could be utilized for comparison on that lift card.
How about 55-7?
55-7, I did find one latent print of value for comparison. I compared that latent print to the known prints of Todt and identified it to the right thumb of Todt.
Next, let's talk about 55-4. Where does the latent print card indicate that these latent prints are from?
55-4, the description says that it was lifted from a Benadryl. In parentheses, it says 202B, 100 tablet box, and then there's another parentheses that says side.
Are there any other latent print cards that also appear to be from this same piece of evidence?
Yes, there is.
Which numbers are those?
55-5 and 55-6 are indicated as being lifted from the same location.
Did you recover any, or were there any utilized latent prints from 55-6?
No, there were not.
Why not?
Same as before, when I evaluated this latent print card, I didn't observe any latent print impressions of value for comparison.
What about 55-4?
55-4, I did have one latent print on this card that I went ahead and conducted a comparison with, and that was one of the ones that I came to the conclusion of inconclusive for. So inconclusive would mean that there was not enough information to definitively say that it was an identification or an exclusion.
What about 55-5?
55-5, there was one latent print of value for comparison on this latent print card, and that I compared with the known prints of Todt, and that was identified to the right thumb of Todt. Oh, my apologies, the right middle finger of Todt.
Let's talk about latent print card 55-9. Were there usable latent prints on this card?
Yes, I did compare one latent print from the card that I labeled 55-9.
Where did the card indicate that the latent prints were from?
The description written on the back of this card says it was lifted from the front of black iPhone from marker number 1.
In either 55-9 or 55-10, were you able to make any identifications?
I was able to identify one latent print on the card that was labeled 55-9, and I identified that to the right palm print of Todt. And then for 55-10, I did not observe any latent prints of value for comparison on that card.
What about 55-14? Where does that latent print card indicate those latents were recovered from?
So the card that's labeled 55-14, the written description indicates that it was lifted from a Benadryl bottle from the kitchen trash can.
Did you observe any usable latent prints from this card?
I did. I observed 4 latent print impressions on this card that were of value for comparison.
What opinion did you form with regards to 55-14?
So the 4 latent prints that I located were individually labeled. 2 of the latent prints, I reached the conclusion of inconclusive, which I explained earlier was there wasn't enough information to make a determination of either identification or exclusion. And then the last 2 latent prints, one I identified to the right thumb of Todt, and one I identified to the left middle finger of Todt.
You also received latent print cards that you labeled 55-11, 55-12, and 55-13.
Yes.
Where were these print cards labeled that those prints came from?
So the card that I labeled 55-11, that one, the description indicates it was lifted from the side of blade, green/black buck knife. 55-12, the description indicated it was lifted from the side of blade, black and silver buck knife. In 55-13, the description indicates it was lifted from side of blade, black and silver buck knife.
Was there any information in any of those 3 latent print cards that was able to be utilized by you?
No, I was not able to conduct any comparisons with any latent impressions that were left on these cards.
I'm highlighting this because I need that compliment
The
today.
defendant in any of
Thank
the
you,
latent print
Tony.
Cards that you were able to compare excluded from any of the prints that were found?
I did not come to the conclusion of exclusion in any of the latent prints. There were 10 latent prints in total that I compared.
Hey, I've
7
learned
I
a
was
lot.
able to identify
Hey, Heather,
to
whatever. Good to see
Todt,
both of you guys.
and the remaining 3 were all listed as inconclusive, which essentially there wasn't enough information to make a determination either way.
And when you indicate identified as Todt, are you referring to Anthony Todt?
Yes, I am.
May I have just a moment?
Of course.
I have no further questions.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor Sanchez, cross-examination.
Good afternoon.
Okay, so this is why this is important. The Benadryl comes into play later. You know, I haven't done a whole lot. I didn't dig into this case. You guys know I don't do that when I cover it this way. So thank you, Coolest Reviews. I need him. I just need my ego stroked some days, and today is one of them days. It's like nothing I was doing was working, and it was driving me bananas. Also, it started out badly because I started out today listening to the opening statements in the shower, okay? And when they concluded and then she started presenting her case, I was very taken aback, which caused me to get out of the shower, right? And go look at my phone to see what was going on, which also got my phone wet. Nothing bad happened, but it just disrupted the flow of the shower. Okay. And then everything was just downhill here from there. Thank you, Big Mama. I appreciate that. I try to be a decent person, but this was hard after that. I just wasn't ready for it. Anyway, so the Benadryl is going to come into play later on, but more importantly, were the latent prints that were found on the knife because in his confession, according to the opening statement, Anthony Todt claimed that Megan is the one that stabbed herself first, and then she was unsuccessful at it, and so then he smothered her, but her fingerprints were not found on the knife, so that's why that's important. So now we're going to get to the cross. If I would just quit pausing it. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, and that's important because obviously it's going to go to, his confession, and they tried to get that confession thrown out. So yeah, it was just, yeah, this is a hard trial. It's going to be a hard one, you guys. And I don't think that the Johnny Depp Amber Heard is going to be a very easy one either. Just they're going to play that audio and it's rough. All right, here we go.
You never responded to the scene, correct?
No, I did not.
And you don't know where the prints or how the prints got to evidence?
I only know from the point when I was involved in the case, which is going into evidence to recover the latent prints from there.
And you don't know how the prints got to each evidence, correct?
I'm sorry, how do you mean to each evidence?
For example, you don't know how the prints got to the Benadryl box on 55-1.
I can only say that for the ones that I identified, the individual touched those items at some point prior to them being processed and lifted, but the manner in which they arrived there, I couldn't say.
And you're not certain on how long, or it's a long, extensive period of time for that print to be on there, correct? So, for example, it could have been days, it could have been weeks, it could have been months that print has been on there.
That's correct. I wouldn't have been able to tell how long a print had been left behind on an item.
And you didn't collect the prints, is that correct?
That is correct.
You were talking about, there's indication sometimes when there's small prints that you're not able to compare, you kind of just throw out, is that correct?
Yes, if the prints are very small and there's not a lot of information, then we might not be able to utilize that information to do a comparison.
So because you weren't the one who collected the prints, you're uncertain whether or not there was those little small ridges on the, let's just say, the Benadryl box?
I did not collect the prints, so I can only analyze what was provided to me, and I can't say what possibly would have been left on the scene.
And you didn't go back to the scene to see if there was any relevant prints to collect?
I did not respond to the scene at all.
And you received known prints, known print cards from Anthony Todt, correct?
That is correct.
You didn't receive any known print cards from Megan Todt?
That is correct.
So you weren't able to compare Megan's Todt with all of these exhibits?
I did not compare Megan Todt to any of the exhibits.
Oh, that's interesting.
What is the standard, or how did you determine that Anthony's Todt fingerprint is on the Benadryl box? I know you explained it, but how many ridges did you get to determine it's Anthony's?
So each individual print is compared individually. Each print is going to be different in the amount of information that's present in it. There's not a set number in latent prints for, you need this many ridge details to conduct a comparison or make an identification. And the reason being for that is because we actually use, as you guys heard me talk about in the beginning, a lot more information than just individual points to conduct a comparison. So in this case,
I'll just stop you right there.
I'm going to stop both of you. Every single time there's testimony about ridges, Vincent's missing ear, that's what I think. Ruffles have ridges. See? Completely sophisticated up in here.
So in other words, this is a subjective test. This is based on your opinion.
to some degree, it is based on my opinion, yes.
Did you have someone check your work?
Yes.
Who checked your work?
The verifier in this case was Kara Bauckham. She's another fully trained examiner.
Did she sign anything?
Yes, she did.
Did you provide that to the state?
The final report was provided to the state.
And it has this, what's the last name?
Her name is Kara Bauckham, Baucom.
Hey, criminality. Good to see you,
Majority of
babe.
the prints that you looked at were from Benadryl boxes, correct?
That is correct.
Not from bottles?
If I may refer to my report.
If it will refresh your recollection, you may.
1, 2, 3.
Please look up at me when your memory has been refreshed.
It appears that 8 of the exhibits came from boxes.
Do you personally know what Benadryl is used for?
My understanding of what Benadryl is commonly used for is as a
Relevant
sleep
and
aid.
outside the scope.
You're not aware of who consumed these Benadryls, correct?
That is correct.
A moment, Your Honor.
You're right.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So that's very interesting with respect to the fact that she wasn't given Megan Todt's fingerprints for comparison. And now, I suspect the reason that they were not provided is not because it was an oversight on anybody's part, but I would think that it was because of the fact that that there was a significant amount of time between when they died and when they were found, and decomp makes it difficult to get good fingerprints, so, and even if it was, oh, thank you, I've learned a lot, even if it were like when this occurred, which was in December, but it's December in Florida. So, we had a few cold snaps here where I am. I'm on the Gulf Coast. This is in the middle of Florida, basically. And it's not going to be cold enough, A, for you to turn on the heater really, but B, it's not going to, do it doesn't help to preserve bodies. So I think that's probably why they weren't able to get fingerprints for comparison for her. But I do find that interesting. Now, this is the woman. Her name is, hold on a second. I just want to make sure I remember it right. Emily Seda. And she is the person who documented the crime scene in photographs. So I can't promise. I don't know what they're going to show, to be quite frank. Okay. So again, this is your warning. Yeah. December of 2019. So yeah, even exactly. So roughly 2 weeks. But even though it's December in Florida. So I mean, it's like, a cold day here is like 60 degrees, maybe. And that doesn't last. I mean, like I said, we had a few cold snaps where it was like cold for Florida. I'm talking about 55, 60, like days when I had to actually wear socks. Okay. And I thought that I was going to not recover because I'm not used to the cold anymore. It's been a while. It's not cold at all. So, yeah. But brace yourselves. This is your warning. Here, I'm going to put it up one time. There you go. Okay. All right. Here we go. Now, I did speed her up because it's a lot of testimony but it's important testimony because she's the one that documented the scene. So that's why I chose to play all of it. All right, here we go.
Good morning. Will you please say your first and last name and spell your last name for the record?
Oh my
My name is
gosh.
Emily Seda. First
I
name
didn't
is
know it was going to do all
Emily. Last name is
this.
Seda.
Well, sorry about that, you
I'm
guys.
employed by the Osceola County Sheriff's Office. What do you do for the Sheriff's Office? I am the forensic supervisor over our forensic unit. Back on January 13th.
This is at 1.5 speed. It doesn't do this when you do that to YouTube. So I didn't think that it would do this, but hey, I don't know what to do about it at this point. I guess I could just play. Hang on a minute. I'll just I'll play it from the other thing here. Hold on. Give me just a second. Wait, that's her. Here we go. Oh, I got to share stream. Hold on. Let me share it. Well, I don't like how it does that. I didn't think it would change her voice, although technically that would be transformative. A little bit of humor. Because when you play it back, it doesn't sound like that when you're editing it. So weird. It's annoying. All right, here we go. Give me a sec. I'll fix it. Hold on. Let's do it this way. All right. Let me skip to where she's actually talking. All right. All right. Okay, that was just a test. See if y'all were awake. Here we go.
I do.
It did sound like Gypsy.
Good morning. Will you please say your first and last name and spell your last name for the record?
My name is Emily Seda. First name is Emily. Last name is Seda.
How you're employed?
I'm employed by the Osceola County Sheriff's Office.
What do you do for the sheriff's office?
I am the forensic supervisor over our forensic unit.
Back on January 13th of 2020, what was your role at the sheriff's office?
On that date, I was assigned as the primary technician on a homicide investigation.
What is some of the training and education you received?
Okay, we don't need to hear all this. You're smart. We get it. Thumbing through, making sure those are her actual photographs, yada, yada, yada.
Okay.
LL will be received as states 4.
Osceola. Now I'll know. How was I saying it? Now I don't even remember.
Permission to publish states 4.
But now I'll just remember Osceola. I'm not going to remember the wrong way to say it. So here we go, you guys.
What are we looking at in this photograph?
In that photo, that is a view of the front of the residence at 202 Reserve Place.
Does this accurately show how 202 Reserve Place appeared when you arrived on the 13th?
Ooh,
Yes, it does.
Christine,
All of the
be
lines
careful,
and
be
everything
safe.
Were in the same location as when you arrived.
That's correct.
Which I don't even know why I say that, because like, what are you gonna not be safe in a tornado? You're gonna just choose non-safety. But I remember, I used to live in Texas, and I remember the tornado sirens and all that. And this time of year, it's not fun.
This is LL2. Why did you take a photograph of the street sign?
I photographed the street sign to show the general location of the area, to show the intersecting roadway.
Would this be the closest intersection to 202 Reserve Place?
Yes.
This is photograph LL4 from the same exhibit. What is this photograph looking at?
That image shows the overall of the residence from a little bit further down the road. That would be the left side of the residence if you're looking at it from the front.
That intersection that can be seen in this photograph, is that the intersection of Reserve Place and Longview Avenue?
Yes, it is.
Well, they have real curbs in in Celebration, and where I'm at in Florida. I mean, I'm sure they do, but in the residential neighborhoods, you can drive up the curb. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's sloped in a way where it wouldn't
That
wreck your
photograph,
tires.
is
You
an
know what I
overall
mean?
shot of the front porch.
It's like
and
a
is an overall
ramp
shot of
more
two
than
cell
a
phones that were located on the
than a
table there
curb.
on the porch.
When you walk up the stairs to 202 Reserve Place, is this on the left or the right?
That is on the left side.
I'm impressed with her pompadour too. I wasn't going to make comment of it just because we did so much commentary on Ezra's hair du jour. But she's got a good pompadour.
What are we looking at in this photograph?
In that photo, you see a close-up view of the two cell phones that were located on the table that was on the porch.
I also like how they go ahead and let everybody
In
know
this
what
photograph,
that's
looks
it,
like there are
beveled,
more than
whatever.
2 cell phones. What else is shown in this photograph?
How they gave the
Besides
Wi-Fi password out.
Cases, cell phone cases.
Had some strong encryption you got there.
This is photograph LL10. Which door to the residence is this?
That is the front door.
The item that appears to be on the floor mat, was that ultimately collected by you?
No, it was only photographically documented.
It was photographed by you.
That's correct.
This is photograph LL11.
Is this the item that was located on the floor mat?
Yes, it is.
And do you recognize what this is?
A business card that was left by a member of the sheriff's office by the name of Barroso.
This is photograph LL14. Where are you standing when you took this photograph?
I'm standing just inside the front entryway, looking back towards the front door.
And is there a room to your right as you're standing taking this photograph?
Yes, there is.
This is photograph LL15. Is this the room to the right?
Yes, it is.
As you move further into the residence, what's the next room that you come to?
On the other side, directly across from that dining area, or from that living room space, is a formal dining room.
This is photograph LL18.
It's a pretty house.
A little bit dark, but
Do you see the entrance to the formal dining room in this photograph?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that the area that's going to be on the left-hand side of this photo?
Yes.
this is photograph LL19.
Where exactly are you standing in this photograph?
I'm standing just
a
inside the
very
entrance
nice
near
house.
the dining room area.
And what is the room that you can partly see that's directly across from the dining room?
That was a room that was set up, what appeared to be a playroom with like toys and books.
This is photograph LL20.
It's been a long time since I've seen a house with siding. All the houses by where I am are like,
This is photograph
you know, cinder block houses. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously,
The key that's pictured in this photograph, did you later determine what that key went to?
Yes,
What did that key go to?
a Honda Odyssey van.
Ultimately, did you process the Honda Odyssey at a later time?
Yes, I did.
yeah. And the Honda Odyssey is an interesting little twist too, because it was located by the condominium,
Yeah, this photograph.
but not
That
by
room would be
their
what I previously
condominium. Like
indicated
it
as
was
the playroom.
in the
And
back
Is there a
and kind of
couch
far away,
in this
like
room?
it had been
Yes, so the left side of the photo,
hidden,
that's a couch.
if you will.
Downstairs, did you locate any other room that was set up like this particular room?
No, I did not.
This is LL30. Is this the couch that is located in the room that you were just referring to?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, pretty much Vincent's missing ear.
This is photograph LL34.
Is this that formal dining room that was to the right of the front door?
Yes, it is.
The small opening that's for the door, where does that lead to?
That is a short hallway that leads to the kitchen.
And when you immediately go through that walkway, what is to the left?
There's like a small recessed area in the wall with like a countertop.
This is photograph LL38.
Is this the area that you're just speaking of?
Yes, ma'am.
And this is how it appeared when you first arrived?
Yes.
Did you look inside of these packages?
Yes, I did.
Did you photograph the inside of these packages?
Yes, I did.
What did
Okay.
you locate inside these packages?
Mostly children's toys.
So I don't know about their mortgage at
Yes, they
this
were.
point because
I
whenever
believe it was a red wrapping paper, Christmas wrapping
I
paper.
don't think we need to hear her. But whenever his sister called for the welfare check, when she gave them the address to this home, she said that they were being evicted. And there's a difference between being evicted and foreclosed, and most people know the difference. So I don't know what the status of with their mortgage payment was, that they were renting this house. So yeah, I don't know what was going on. I know they're going to get into all of that, but like I said, you know how I roll when I do the notes from the jury. I don't do any extra digging to look into the case because I just want to hear it the way the jury is hearing it. You know what I mean? All right, here we go. I'll put the
Yes.
Is this in the laundry room?
Yes, it is.
But like I said, I only know about the eviction, and the only thing I know about the eviction is what his sister said when she made the 911 call. They did nonstop, mom. So the pictures that they're showing right now are from their rental home. They rented this home. Then down the street,
When I
not that
initially
far,
arrived, I was told that the power was not on.
they owned a condominium, but they were not living there or
While I was
staying
there
there.
waiting for the search warrants, it had been turned on.
This is photograph LL. Where are you at when you take this photograph?
I'm standing in the kitchen.
And this drawer is this a drawer that you had pulled out?
Yes, it is.
And what was inside the drawer?
A trash can.
You know, I'm not exact. I only know what they've presented so far, Allie. And from what I understand, he
Yes, it is.
also had a
What of
conversation.
Were you marking in the trash can?
At the bottom left of the photo near the marker, you can see a bottle of Benadryl that's upside down.
Do you have the pointer?
Yes.
Hold on, let me pause this because we need to. Apparently, they want us to see this Benadryl. But when his sister called, again, this was a different 911 call, or different time that she called, a follow-up call, as it were. She said that after their initial wellness check and not hearing anything back, either way, like the cops went out there, obviously they went to both locations, they didn't get an answer, they left their card. And days passed, I believe, and then the sister called back again to report that nobody had heard from anybody in the Todt household at all. Their phones were going straight to voicemail. And then apparently through conversations between herself and his other siblings, they recalled that around right before Christmas or shortly after, he had made a reference to the end of the world. So I don't think that he ever, I don't know what he was, I don't know, because I haven't done any of the digging or anything, because I just wanted to do it the way the jury would hear it. So yeah. And I cannot believe the length of time with which he was able to live with. I cannot even imagine that on every level.
Yes, it was.
Is this the same bottle that you removed from the trash can?
Yes, it is.
Welcome, Baba Yaga. I can't imagine living like that either.
Do you recognize the writing on the outside of this package?
I do.
Is it yours?
Yes, it is.
And each time you collect something for evidence, is it marked with the unique case number that's assigned to the particular case?
Yes, it is.
And does this package appear to be in substantially similar condition as the last time that you saw it on January 13th?
Yes,
Did you ultimately also process this item?
I did.
And the truth of the matter is, at this point, I don't know any more than what they've presented, but it's conceivable.
Introduce into evidence what's been marked states F for identification and evidence is states number 5. No.
It's conceivable that he was never going to, he never was going to try to blame it on anybody else. I think it's interesting that he talked about the end of the world, though, with his siblings. It's almost as if he was going to set up an insanity plea, and this was his way, an attempt to set up an insanity plea, and this was his way of doing that, by laying the foundation, by speaking to his siblings about that, because obvious that's such a weird, you know what I'm saying? I mean, had they talked sooner, and I'm sure they probably, felt they shouldn't, but let's just say, we have to go there. If they had all remembered it, right, that they had heard this from him sooner, because I think it took a minute for them. I think what they were doing is, how brothers and sisters are. Have you heard from so-and-so? Have you heard from, your brother? No, I haven't heard from my brother. And then, days can go by and stuff like that. Then after what was initially told to the family to keep them at bay, as it were, is that they had the flu. And then the family members, because weeks had gone on, then it was like that just didn't, then they became concerned, right? And then it was after the concern that they all realized that they had that he had said this on multiple occasions. And so that's what, sure. That's all I was going to say. All I did was, yeah, I'll just go ahead and start playing it again.
Did you process more than one item that was collected for fingerprints?
Yes, I did.
Did you utilize the same process that you just went over with the jury?
Yes, I did.
And after you collected all of the fingerprint cards, if you recovered fingerprints, what did you do with them?
When I lifted them, I placed them in the manila envelope and then submitted them to our evidence unit.
Did you place all of the cards in the same envelope?
Yes, I did.
And did you have an opportunity to look inside states P?
Did you want me to look at all the cards?
Can you look at what the items inside states P? If we
Yes.
Well, I think it's interesting that the prosecution didn't offer a motive in their opening
Are all of
statement.
these cards in the same condition as when you placed them in the envelope?
Yes, they are.
And you indicated that you lifted fingerprints from more than one item of evidence. Is that correct?
That's correct.
How do you determine which card goes with which piece of evidence?
So on the other side of the card, there's information where you can indicate a description of where the fingerprint was lifted.
With regards to this particular bottle of Benadryl, this would be states 4 in evidence, 5 in evidence, I'm sorry, 5 in evidence. Do you have a card that's in states P that coincides with this particular piece of evidence?
Yes, I do.
Your Honor, the state would seek to introduce into evidence what's been marked states P into evidence as states number 6.
Objection, Judge. States P as in Papa will be received as states number 6.
Are these lift cards given unique numbers to help decipher which card is which? Like within the exhibit?
No, it's just deciphered by the description.
The card that goes with this particular bottle of Benadryl, where did you remove the fingerprints from on the bottle?
It was an area on the bottle. I do not remember the specific location.
Did you notate that anywhere on the fingerprint card?
On the fingerprint card, it just indicates that it came from that item of evidence.
Do you recall which areas of the bottle
Like
that
this,
you
Mo.
dusted for potential fingerprints?
In terms of dusting, it was the entire bottle on the exterior.
There's an S at the end. You had it right. There's just an S at the end. She's very pretty, and she has to use a lot of product because, first of all, it's been very blustery in the Floridas this past couple of weeks. And I don't really know what the weather is like in Central Florida. As
Where are you at when you took this photograph?
I was standing between the living room and the kitchen area.
If you're standing at the kitchen sink, can you see the living room?
Yes, you can.
you know what I've noticed, Big Mama, when they do that, it's because they wanted. It's really not because sometimes they do expect the objection to be sustained, but a lot of times it's
the
to
living room area.
disrupt the flow of the testimony.
Straight ahead, the little window cutout, there's what appears to be 2 doors. What do those doors go to?
Where?
This is photograph LL85. LL86. Is this on the first floor?
Yes.
Yeah, see, it's been warm here. I don't know how humid it is there, though.
Is this trash can in the bathroom we just looked at?
Yes, it is.
And did you have an opportunity to examine the contents of the trash can?
Yes, I did.
What are the packaging? What is the packaging in the trash can for?
Like in-home scent plugins.
Oh, my.
That pretty much the entire content of this trash can.
Yes, from what I recall.
Good night, Nonstop Mom. Thanks for stopping by. See you tomorrow, babe.
This is photograph LL91. Is there only one set of stairs in the home?
Yes.
This is photograph LL92.
Allie.
This is photograph LL92.
Well, sweet dreams, Nonstop Mom. We'll see you tomorrow night, babe.
This is photograph LL95. LL96.
That's an extreme amount of like plug-in scent cartridges. Because obviously the circumstances, but even there's no way. I don't see how he stayed in that home that long like that.
On the banister of the stairs, there is a white bottle. Did you ultimately collect that bottle?
Yes, I did.
What was the labeling on the outside of that bottle?
Benadryl.
There is also a little white cap on the floor. What is that?
The cap to the Benadryl bottle.
The door that you can see in this photograph, where does that door lead?
That is a bedroom.
I didn't do anything beyond the support and the memberships. Mo.
This is a slightly different angle and you can see another door. Where does that door lead?
That is also a bedroom.
As you're standing here, where is the master bedroom in relation to the room?
It would be right behind me in this photo.
Oh, that's weird. I've learned a lot. I'll look at it, babe. Thank you for letting me know.
Which bedroom is this? The one furthest on the left, the one in the middle, or the master bedroom?
This would be the middle bedroom.
Did you find any mattresses in this bedroom?
No, I did not.
This is LL106. What type of clothing did you look in that bedroom? That didn't have a mattress?
It appeared to be boys' clothing.
Try that one. I've learned
It
a
looked like
lot.
small
I'll fix it
children's
in Nightbot after this is over. But I appreciate you sending the super chat.
LL106.
Thank you very much.
Which bedroom is this?
That would be the bedroom furthest to the left at the top of the staircase.
Did you find clothing in this bedroom?
Yes, I did.
What type of clothing?
A small female's clothing.
This is photograph LL113. What is of note in this photograph?
On top of this wicker basket is an empty Benadryl box.
This is photograph LL117. Is this the same box?
Yes, it is.
And this is LL118. Is this photograph the same box?
Yes, it is.
Did you also process this box from the female cell?
Yes.
How did you process it?
I processed it in the same manner as previously described with the three-step process.
And did you recover any fingerprints that you would have put on print cards?
Yes, I did.
How many print cards did you have with regards to this specific box?
May I refer back to the print cards?
Yes. And that would be state 6 for the record.
Baba Yaga,
Three
sorry,
fingerprints.
I was distracted.
Did you indicate where on
This
the box
is
you
as
pulled
loud as it
fingerprints
goes.
from?
This is the odd. I don't know why it's like
On
this.
card,
This is
I
how it
indicated that it was
was.
from the sides of the box.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it is kind of, well, but then at the same time, yeah, he was kind of just waiting there because they tried to contact him and he never like returned any of their phone calls, and then when they showed up, well, we'll see that after this, how he behaved. Wow, this is really taking a while for her to thumb through all the exhibits.
Do you recognize the packaging of that item?
I do.
How do you recognize it?
I recognize it by my handwriting and as being the packaging that contains the empty Benadryl bottle at marker 11.
Can you open that packaging and take a look at the inside? Does that packaging appear to be in the same condition as when you last saw it on January 13th and after your processing?
Yes, it does.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would seek to introduce into evidence what's been marked State's G for identification and evidence.
Objection. G as in golf will be received as stage 7.
What are we looking at in this photograph?
That is a photo of the master bedroom door.
Are you standing near the stairs?
Yes, I am.
He did. He did.
This is photograph LL122. Where is this dresser located?
It's located just inside the room behind the master bedroom door.
This is photograph LL124.
Thank you, Vincent's missing ear. I appreciate that, babe.
In this photo, this is a black and green knife sheath.
You're really going for the gold of listening at warp speed, huh? Criminality. You want to come up? You got a minute?
This is photograph LL125. Where is this chair located?
That chair is located upon entering the room. It would have been to the left back corner of the bedroom. Yes, it is.
This note, was it collected?
Yes, it was.
Did you do anything with it?
I processed it.
Well, you know, the thing about the insanity plea is there is the clinical definition and then there is the legal definition. And if
In that photo, I'm standing near the dresser area, right inside the front door, or
Todt
excuse me, the bedroom door.
did anything, took any type of countermeasure at all, like for example, not having the
Ultimately-
Honda Odyssey parked at their residence
Are you standing next to
or
any
at their
Massachusetts
condo,
photograph?
but having
am.
Where
having
are
parked it
mattresses
farther
They're located
away,
near,
and
in the previous photo where you saw that chair, those
that could
mattresses
be
would
construed
directly to the side of the bed.
as attempting
And-
to
The bed that we are looking
evade
at in this photograph,
prosecution for the
what is
crime, which
located in this
then,
particular bed?
by
an
definition,
adult female and a small
makes
female child.
you ineligible for the insanity defense. No, I want you to just fix the audio, Coolest Reviews. Can you just be done? I just want to fix it. I don't like how low it is, but you know what? I have to say,
Bed in the master bedroom I'm looking at in this photograph.
From the previous photo, if you were looking at the bed, that would be the left side of the bed.
the witnesses are significantly louder than the
On
lawyers.
the windowsill, you
I
can
don't know what's
see a
going on
knife
with
a
their
black handle.
mics.
Was that item collected?
Yes, it was.
I don't know why I just asked Teresa if she wanted to come up when she's behind. So 20 minutes from now, when she catches up to where I
Does the
said
box
that,
appear to be in
then she'll hear it.
same or substantially
What a
similar
maroon
condition
I
to the last
am.
time that you saw it?
Total sophistication.
Can you open stage J for identification?
I don't know, Big Mama. Lately, we've been watching some. We have been watching a ton of trials, and they seem to have better audio than what's in this one.
Do the contents of stage J appear to be in the same condition as the last time you saw it or substantially similar?
I don't even.
Yes.
How would I even get you
Did you
the
do
audio
anything with
files?
Stage J
Close
after it's
reviews.
Yes, I did.
What did you do?
I processed it for fingerprints, and there was also suspected blood located on the knife, which I also collected.
How'd you collect suspected blood?
The blood was collected using
I know.
2 cotton tip swabs. One was moistened with water and then rubbed over the stain.
So sad.
Yes, it was.
Oh, she's caught up. All right, hang on.
James and Juliet will be received as states 8.
Yeah, I can hear it okay because I have I'm wearing headphones. Okay, but coolest reviews. I mean, I can email you the video, but how? Well, you know how to isolate the. Never mind. I know you know how to isolate the audio. I could even isolate the audio.
Is this that same side of the bed?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, this whole system is messed up.
In
Just
this photo, you can
everything that
see
happened
an
in this
additional,
situation is
black
messed
connection.
up. It's Teresa. Please hold.
Did you collect that item?
Yes, I did.
Oh, hey, hi. What are you doing?
Jen?
I haven't seen you in a long day. What you been up to?
Oh my goodness, lots of school papers.
Are you finding better material for forensicing than the Todd Mullis trial?
Oh my god. Thank God I don't have to write another one of those. No,
Right?
I had to just do a psychology paper. And we had to pick a movie to watch, and I picked The Joker. So I had to
Ooh.
diagnose the Joker.
He definitely has abandonment issues. I don't want to judge, but
Yeah, I from the watch case, I diagnosed him with narcissistic personality disorder.
everybody has narcissistic personality disorder. Like 98% of YouTube has narcissistic, if you ask.
I'm like, you're a narcissist? You're a narcissist.
We're all narcissists.
I am so glad that you're covering this trial.
Are you?
Yes.
Me
I've been
too.
waiting for this trial.
Yeah, we're also waiting for the other one too that doesn't seem to be on the horizon
That
anytime
one doesn't
soon.
seem to be, that one doesn't seem to be working out in our favor.
I'm covering the Depp and Heard one too.
Yeah, this freaking guy killed the dang dog, man. It's like a little Shih Tzu.
Yeah.
Like, killed your kids, killed the dog, killed your wife, and then sat in the house for like 3 weeks with all their bodies.
Right. Changing out plugins.
Hold on, real quick. What? I don't ask your dad. Okay,
And
sorry.
What's weird to me is he's a physical therapist, right? That was his job.
Right, but I think his practice was going under, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but that's not my point. My point is that as a physical therapist, you're likely around doctors, correct?
Yeah.
Real MDs that can write real prescriptions.
Uh-huh.
So why would you spend $2,000 on Benadryl when you could spend $30 on something prescription level and stronger and more effective?
I think he just wanted to sleep.
Like forever?
I don't think he was trying to kill himself. I think he was trying to sleep through it.
Huh. So I guess we'll get to that point when they do the toxicology, because obviously if he were to take that level of Benadryl at once, he must have been portioning it out. You're probably right. Okay. I'm sure you're right. That makes more sense.
I think that he was like, he just wanted to continue to sleep through the entire thing. So he wasn't dealing with them being dead. It was like a avoidance.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand that, but he didn't take all the Benadryl at one time, right?
Right.
Okay. He
That's why
was
I think he was just going
parceling
to
it
sleep.
out. Correct. Okay. That makes more sense because I couldn't figure out why would you take that much Benadryl if you're around doctors and you could get a prescription for something that would be, if your end goal was to unalive yourself. You know how YouTube is. We can't be saying stuff.
Yeah. Unalived.
Yeah. I know. So, or self-harm, I get that must not have been in his intent. See, I didn't do any looking into this case beyond,
Oh,
beyond what is being presented. So,
okay. All right.
because
Well,
you
I
know
won't
how
ruin
I
it.
like to, you don't have to ruin, you can, it's fine. I don't care. I just didn't, because you know how I like to do it on this series.
Yeah, because you're the juror, so you only
I'm
want
the
to know what the
juror.
jurors know.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody say hi in chat. I wanted to say hi. I didn't want to interrupt, but
Oh no, you say hi to whoever you want to say hi to.
it's just so nice to be on your channel again. I love this channel.
It is. I'm glad you're here. I go pop in over at your channel too.
I know you do. I love it. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. And we got to
It's so
support
nice.
each
It's just
other.
peaceful and true crimey, and
Yes.
you know,
That's what we're about over here at the Ward. True crime, snacks, and sophistication.
and the Googles.
And the Googles. I smell merch. True crime,
Some of
snacks,
them.
and sophistication. I'm gonna put that on a pillow.
Yeah, so the toxicology is obviously it was released to the public and his arrest affidavit and whatnot.
Right.
He actually made a statement when after he was arrested,
Mm-hmm.
and then tried to change that, of course, to blaming her for doing it all.
I say regerts. Okay.
And then he had made quite a few statements, and I don't remember. This is like 2 years ago now, so
Yeah,
or
it's
what,
been
a
a
year and a
minute.
half? Yeah, 2019, I think, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, no,
Um,
2020.
2020.
That's when
Okay.
2020. But still, there's a lot of things that have happened between now and then.
Oh yeah. So yeah, he's gone back and forth on what really happened. You know, trying to be insane, trying to say she did it. Um, to me, there's no doubt this man will be convicted.
Oh no, I absolutely agree with you 100%. This is what I think. I'm curious because I know that they tried to get some of the confessions not to be admitted.
Right.
And I know that there was a lot of back and forth about testimony regarding diminished capacity, specifically around the confessions. And I'm kind of wondering if they're going to be more in the like the way it was with Chandler Halderson, where they're not really trying to get him found not guilty. They're trying to get him to be found not guilty of first degree murder, making him eligible for parole or some other something. You know what I mean?
You know what?
Because
What I don't actually know are his charges all first degree? I have to go back and look.
yeah, I'm gonna have to look too.
Are they
'Cause now I don't
actually
remember.
offering up a lesser charge?
Well, Florida is a DP state. I don't know if they put that on the table or not. The thing is that you know how it is normally whenever the opening statements come, right?
Is she crackly for anybody else, or is that just me?
Sorry about that.
Oh, there you go.
You know how well, Florida is a death penalty state.
Yeah.
So, but you know how normally when there's the opening arguments, you get a sense of all the things. And in this opening argument, it wasn't all she kind of did was say, okay, well, you're going to see testimony from the crime scene and the doctors and all that. She didn't really like Molson Man says yes, all first degree. She didn't go into anything more than that. Just sort of like be like if I'd never heard of the case and I looked at the witness list and I read from there. You know what I mean? I thought she would give us more something else or more.
In her opening statement?
Yeah.
Dude, it was like 5 minutes long. It was ridiculous. I was very surprised.
Yeah.
But I think that she knows that she has enough testimony and enough evidence that it's not her opening statement really didn't need to be anything.
Well, you're right. But usually, it's always good practice if nothing else.
Yeah, there wasn't like Vincent's missing ear. There was no story in the opening statement. There wasn't.
There wasn't.
He literally tells no narrative of what to expect or anything. It's just bleh.
It's just she basically read out the witness list.
Yeah, you're going to hear from so and so and so and so, and then you're going to come to a decision.
And hopefully it's the one we're wanting you to come to, which is guilty.
Yeah, I'm really surprised. Ally 79, she's like, what juries will be like, yep, not guilty. I just don't see that. I don't see how they're going to be able to do that, especially if they're not offering up like lesser charges.
Well, look what happened with Casey Anthony. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You never know what potential reasonable doubt the defense is going to throw in.
Yeah, I guess we'll see what experts they have to come up with, but I mean, the only way that they're going to be able to show anything is if they could try to say somebody else did this.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll say this. So they do have a little window of, at this point, because I don't know anything beyond this, right, of reasonable doubt with the knife, because his fingerprint was found, but hers were not, but hers were never collected to be compared. Now, I feel that the most likely and reasonable explanation for this is because they were sitting in that home for, close to 2 weeks, making it very difficult to lift a fingerprint from her.
That would be my thought. There was a lot of, so there is some evidence photos and they haven't shown them yet, but I've seen some. They're really bad.
Mm-hmm. I've heard.
And there's definitely some major decomp and skin slippage, and I just think that was probably getting a fingerprint was probably not likely.
Mm-hmm. Which I agree with, but you only have to get one juror to say, well, maybe that's the way it happened. Maybe he is telling the truth. Maybe she did participate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't want her to believe that she was involved in this plot because they were all gonna die and she was part of it. My question would then be, is there an order that they can show that anybody was killed? Because I don't remember that. And then
right.
And then second, obviously he killed her, whether she wanted to be killed or not, still illegal in the state of Florida.
Correct.
And it wasn't even like she took some sleeping pills. Like she was killed. She was murdered.
Right.
And then he doesn't actually try to kill himself, because I'm sorry, taking Benadryl over a long span of time isn't a death sentence. So
correct. Exactly.
so
Google
he
will
doesn't
tell
follow
you
through with
that.
the pact. And then he'd have to be able to prove that by her participating, she actually killed at least one of the children. And I don't think he's going to be able to do that.
Yeah, I don't either. That's why I don't understand why this wasn't pled out.
But he thinks that he's innocent.
Well, I mean, I understand that what he thinks, but I guess we don't know what the attorneys spoke to him about. I just think they would have encouraged him more, I don't know, strongly. I don't know. I find this case to be interesting on many, many levels. I mean, it just seems like I don't understand the sitting in the house. I'm having a real hard time with that one. But perhaps I think it's possible that he did that in order to set up some type of insanity defense, because what sane person, right, would sit in a home with decomposing bodies, let alone those bodies being those of your wife and your children? Like, that's messed up.
Right.
But again, obviously there's a difference between legal insanity and clinical insanity. And I just feel like that whole conversation that he had, I don't know what he actually said. I know what his sister said. He told several of their siblings was that the end of the world was coming.
Yeah.
And I always wonder about that. You know how it's always the apocalypse, right? You think the dinosaurs got any kind of, like, you think they worried about an apocalypse? No.
No.
And you know what I'm
No,
saying?
they probably should have worried, actually, but they did not.
But they didn't. And we're over here, like, as humans, because I don't worry about end times. It's whatever is going to be is going to be. But humans do worry about it. And
Right.
they spent quite a bit of time pondering it, and yet it has yet to happen.
But they're gonna have to show that this guy was like a what do they call him? Like an end of earther or whatever they're
Oh, a
called.
doomsday?
Yeah, like they're gonna have to show that he was preparing for anything like that.
Yeah.
And I, from my recollection, he was not.
Well,
I mean,
copious amounts of
they actually lived up
Benadryl are
in
not gonna
Connecticut.
yeah, copious amounts of Benadryl are not gonna get you far in, like, a zombie apocalypse. What are you gonna,
No, he's gonna sleep through it, I guess.
Right. You won't have allergies. All the zombies walking around kicking up pollen, you'll be safe. I mean, I
But you
don't,
think if they had this pact that they were going to kill themselves, then they would have done something together, like the
that's
Kool-Aid
what
thing. Or,
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, this is not going to be this is going to be an incredibly difficult defense to mount, and probably not a very successful one. Maybe we
I,
don't know though. Maybe he'll what his one of his attorneys will pull Attorney Vera move. Bullshit.
I think it's going to be interesting if they're going to just try to make it so that the prosecution just doesn't have enough to prove it. Is what they're going with.
Yeah, I can't see that happening, because they know that they only get one bite at the apple. So I can't see them going to trial unless they had all their I's dotted and their T's crossed. But I guess we'll see. I just want to. I almost like to skip through the prosecution and go slower through the defense, because I always want to see what the counter argument is.
Oh yeah, I agree.
You know what they
But
should
I mean,
do?
if you think about the Todd Mullis trial, that defendant's team didn't do anything.
Sure did. He did, but he did slightly more than Chandler Halderson's defense team, to be
Well,
fair.
he at least knew their names. That was positive.
Correct. And didn't try to blame a burp on making some weird on the Starbucks cup. So rude. Just say you burp. Just say excuse me. It's not that big of a deal. People burp. It is what it is.
I'm just trying to do it where everybody can hear you.
Right. And be sure to reiterate in closing arguments how much your client is a liar. That's perfect. Worked out great, huh? Sheesh. Yeah,
Hold on really quick. My little one's yelling at me. Hold on.
I hear. Okay. I'm going to play. Push play.
What was that evidence marker correlating with?
A white Benadryl bottle.
Did that Benadryl bottle stay on the nightstand prior to your collection of it?
No, it did not.
What happened?
Upon the arrival of the medical examiner and attempting to maneuver the bodies, the bottle was bumped and it fell to the ground under the bed.
Photograph LL137. Do you see the bottle in the photograph?
Yes, I do.
Oh, they were Vincent's missing here. They were. Bless their hearts.
Did you collect that bottle?
Yes, I did.
For the record, I'm approaching the witness. Is the packaging of this item in the same or substantially similar condition as the last time you saw it?
Yes, it is.
Can you open the package with the content? Does the content of this package contain the bottle that you collected from this residence?
Yes, it does.
Oh, I don't know. They haven't said anything about that yet. If I said that, it was like tongue in cheek,
Yes, it
not
is.
literal.
And it's in November will be received as States 9.
Did you also process States 9 for fingerprints?
Yes, I did.
Did you utilize the same processing procedure that you previously explained?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you able to identify any fingerprints on this particular bottle?
May I refer to the print cards?
Sure.
No.
I'm going to refill my drink. I'll be right back, you guys. Okay? Behave. Molson man. Mo, you're in charge.
This is photograph LL143. Where exactly is this in the master bedroom?
That is at the foot of the bed.
And it appears that there are various items located on this ottoman.
That's correct.
Did you examine what these items on this ottoman were?
I do not recall.
This is photograph LL144 of the same exhibit. Which side of the bed is this?
That would be the right side of the bed, opposite of the other side that you have already seen.
There is a blanket under the nightstand. Did you look further into that blanket?
Yes,
What did you locate within that blanket?
a deceased dog.
This is photograph LL150. Where in the residence is this located?
That is the master bathroom.
And the white can that is located on the fourth shelf up, was that ultimately collected at a later date?
Yes.
This is photograph LL151. What is this photograph showing?
As you continue through the master bathroom, the master closet is located, and that's what that is showing.
This is photograph LL158 of the same exhibit. Where is this dresser located?
Inside the master closet, it's directly in front of you as you walk in.
What did you locate on top of this dresser?
A pink Benadryl box.
This is photograph LL159. Are these items that you located?
Yes.
Did you collect the bottle?
Yes, I did.
For the record, I'm showing the witness what's in marked case for identification. Can you show us that packaging? Do you recognize the packaging?
Yes, I do.
Is that packaging in the same or substantially similar condition as the last time you saw it?
Yes, it is.
Can you open the packaging? And do you recognize the contents of the packaging as well?
Yes, I do.
Does everything appear to be in substantially similar condition as the last time you saw it?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, this time the state seeks to introduce an evidence, what's been marked state's case for identification and evidence is
Objection. A's and Kilo will be received as states 10.
Did you also prosecute or process states 10 for fingerprints?
Yes, I did.
And did you recover any latent prints from states 10?
Yes, ma'am.
How many latent print cards did you recover?
Two.
And that is also contained within this, the same package as states 6.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you also photograph the outside of it?
Yes, I did.
This is photograph LL162. Where are you standing when you took this photograph?
I am standing towards the back left side of the home.
What is the building that's directly in view of this photograph?
That is a combination of a garage and an additional living space.
Would that be 202B Reserve Place?
That's correct.
This is photograph LL163. What are we looking at in this photograph?
At that point, I'm in the backyard, and that photo depicts the rear of the residence.
When you say the rear of the residence, is this the main home, 202 Reserve Place?
Yes, it is.
And all of the blinds that are in this photograph, are they open or closed?
It's closed.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take our lunch recess at this time. As always, please do not discuss the facts of the case with anyone. If someone tries to come up and talk to you about the case, please let them know that you are a juror on the case and tell them to stop. If they persist, leave them at once. Let one of the court deputies know, and I will handle that situation. If you happen to see any of the participants of this trial outside of this room, they're following the court's instructions.
Okay, so oh, I just dropped my phone. Hang on a second. Let me. I'm not exactly sure how old the homes are that we're looking at, their homes. But I will tell you this: it doesn't take much to age structures in Florida. I'm telling y'all, the sun hits different here. You know, it's it doesn't take much. So but I don't know how old their homes are. Oh wait, hold on. I just had that one that I wanted to highlight that Sam asked. So, not really, Sam. It's not a commonly abused medication. I don't understand the purpose of that at all. Like, I mean, I'm sure that it's going to come out at some point, some sort of, some theory or some, at some point as far as that goes, because, it doesn't make any sense if you were trying to not wake up, if you wanted to take a permanent nap. There are other more effective medications that, that just doesn't seem like that was what his intention was. Heather, I can't, I'm going to have to look that up. Hold on a second. Because, they're, oh, that's not gonna looking up if Celebration is a Disney built town on YouTube isn't gonna cut it, Jen. Get it together. The town of Celebration, Florida is a community founded by the Walt Disney Company in 1996. Today, however, all of the properties in the community are privately owned, and that's from November 9th, 2021. So that's, yes, you're correct about it being the Disney one. However, this is the thing. Florida is an extremely long state, but it's not an extremely wide state. And like from where I am on the Gulf to get to the Atlantic side of Florida is like a 3-hour drive. I mean, that's how long Google Maps will tell you. Obviously, it varies for traffic and whatnot, but for the most part, it's about 3 hours. It's not that far. It's not that wide. Anyway, I don't know. Like, I have a friend who lives in Central Florida, close, kind of in the in that area. And I've visited, and I don't ever remember it feeling like salty air. I don't know how to explain it. It's the air there is different than the air here because I'm closer to the water. So I don't know. But yeah. Whew. So I think that's going to do it for me tonight. We're right about at the 2-hour mark, which is a good time to like stop. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to upload my videos that I make for the testimony to the channel. And then I can play them from YouTube. And that way, when I'm ready for them to be sped up, we won't get that whole, Alvin and the Chipmunks effect, because that's definitely not what we want. So, yeah, this is going to be this is going to be a long trial, like sort of tedious, because it's going to rely on a lot of, minute details, I think, which is important. The details are important. So, but then also, oh, you're welcome. Thanks for coming in, Big Mama. I'm glad. I love new faces. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I think what I'm going to do is end it for tonight. And then, of course, I will be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern if you want to chat about the Depp versus Heard defamation lawsuit. And then I'll be live at 9 Eastern to talk about more of the Todt trial. So, that's the plan. I want to thank you guys all for coming, and it was such a cool chat. You guys are great. We're definitely going to get into this. I'm going to cover it all the way till the verdict. And then if he's found guilty and gets sentenced, and I'll cover that too. I'll follow the case all the way through. But anyway, I want to thank you guys for being here. Thank you to the mods. You guys are all great. I appreciate the support so much. Stay safe out there in the world and on these YouTube streets. And I will talk to y'all tomorrow. All right. Good night, you guys.